Multitasking is ruining your life. But how? I mean, I thought everybody said that multitasking was a good skill to develop. You could do so many different things at the same time. You could save so much time by doing your work and responding to emails at the same time. I mean, it's like the greatest thing ever. Why should I stop multitasking? What's wrong with it? To be fair, this is a very good question because, as I'm sure you know, a lot of people have promoted the importance of multitasking, but to my experience, it's actually not as beneficial as people make it out to be. In fact, I think it is actually detrimental to your success. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. So the thing that we all need to work efficiently is focus. And focus is split up when we're multitasking. We do 2 or 3 things at the same time. Our focus has to be diverted into 2 or 3 directions, which at times can be completely different from each other. So let's take the scenario of you listening to a podcast or a YouTube video while doing your school homework at the same time. What happens is that your attention gets diverted to the podcast as well as to your work. It's like if you have a set amount of attention and you split it in half, you can obviously only use half of your full capacity on each of the projects, in this case being the work and the podcast. The main thing I'm trying to get at here is the importance of deep work, which I've talked about a lot more in different videos on this channel, because I do really believe that deep work is one of the most important concepts for today, and getting successful work done in a short amount of time is basically like the best thing you could do. Imagine you have 2 people and one guy can just do the same amount of work at the same quality 10 times faster. Like, who's going to be more useful to pretty much everything? It's obviously going to be the guy who can do the work faster. So why, instead of just doing things in 3 hours when you can do it in 1, would you choose to do the former? And this is where I think multitasking gives you the worst detriments. So to work deeply, you need to be in something called a flow state. So whether you've heard of flow state or not doesn't matter, because I'm going to explain it here. It's basically a state of being quote unquote in the zone where nothing is really blocking your focus or your attention. Your attention is dedicated to basically one thing and one thing only, to the point where a lot of quiet noises or like subtle things around you go unnoticed. And this is actually a good thing because it means, again, all your focus is dedicated onto what you're doing, which is what you want, because that's how you get efficient work done. The main person I learned all this stuff from is a guy named Cal Newport, who's written a book on deep work and actually coined the term, I'm pretty sure. And a great video I recommend you watch after this one is this TED Talk on quitting social media, where Cal Newport himself actually goes into the intricacies of why you should quit social media and why you should stop multitasking in a specific section of that video. Very good watch. I highly recommend it. You know, TED Talks usually are kind of boring to watch when we're in like high school and middle school, because our teachers give us like stupid, boring topics that we don't care about. So TED Talks kind of get a bad rap, but I really do think TED Talks, especially this one, like this one's really good. They can be very beneficial, so highly recommend that video. That's kind of where I got all this knowledge from. Anyways, back on topic. Now, what's so wrong with splitting our attention? Well, as Cal Newport mentions in the video, the more we split our attention onto different tasks, the more we quickly check Instagram once in a while, the more we're doing something while doing something else at the same time, the less we are able to concentrate. This can be very evident. You don't even need scientific data, even though I'm pretty sure there is scientific data to back this up. When you're on like this dopamine fast cycle, which I'm sure a lot of you are on, you know, I know that a lot of people on this self-improvement thing, they cut dopamine, they stop going on social media and stuff, which is obviously great. But there comes a time where they slowly cycle back into that bad habit. And you're going to notice that if it's happened to you, which it probably has, it's happened to me many times, I'm not going to lie. I'm fasting from dopamine, but as soon as I start getting a little bit more into like social media, I start checking Instagram or YouTube a little bit more often, I begin to notice that I'm almost beginning to just quickly get addicted to it again, and I don't even notice it until I'm basically addicted to it completely again. And that's the very dangerous thing with social media and splitting your attention here. This is why we don't want to multitask. This is why we don't want to split our attention. This is why when we're watching a YouTube video, we don't want to immediately click on the YouTube video and quickly scroll to the comments to see what people are seeing just for another dopamine rush. We do a lot of things that we don't even notice we're doing because we're so programmed to do it. And we're so programmed to do it through multitasking and doing multiple things at the same time that really provide no value in the end. Like if doing your schoolwork provides you value for upcoming tests and exams, by doing something at the same time, you split up the value of actually doing that homework. If it had a theoretical value of, I don't know, 100, let's just say relatively compared to other things, it had a theoretical value of 100. Once you watch a video and you split that value in half, it kind of goes down to 50. Then you start checking your phone more, it goes down to 30. When test time comes or exam time comes, the things that you were supposed to store in your head from that schoolwork and from that studying don't stick in your head, because there's so many other things fluttering around that were happening at the same time as when you were doing your work. Concentration is the big thing right there. through this whole point is concentration. If you're able to concentrate for long periods of time, you're able to do deep work for long periods of time, you get the best benefit from whatever you're doing. It literally doesn't matter. You get the best benefit from whatever it is that you're doing. Even something like the gym. We all go to the gym. I hope to God we all go to the gym. When you're training and your attention gets diverted, you know, you go and check your phone in between sets, whatever. You divert your attention onto something else. Now, this is a very important concept. When you check your phone, it's not just like, oh, you check your phone for 2 seconds, you put it back down, and everything is good again. It's not like that. In fact, it's very bad. Back in the gym, let's say you're in the gym, you know, you did your set of bench, and you go and check your phone, you look at TikTok, there's funny memes. First of all, a lot more time will pass than you actually think. You're gonna lose your pump because you rested for so long. But the big thing I'm getting at here is that once you go back to your sets, those thoughts that you saw on your phone are still fluttering around in your head. It's not like they're just magically going to go away, especially because they're so dopamine releasing, for lack of a better term. They release so much dopamine, they're so enjoyable to watch, you're so addicted to them that your brain continuously goes back to them. You know, when you sit down and you have random thoughts, a lot of those random thoughts come from things that you did while multitasking. A lot of them are things that you found on your phone, things that you found funny or interesting on your phone. So when you're doing your set, you have less concentration, you have less mind-muscle connection, you get less of a pump. Even for something that people at times think it's almost entirely physical, gets impacted by the fact that you multitask in the gym. To give you an even more broad example for people who are really into studying in school, or even if you have a full-time job, whatever. You know, you're doing your paperwork, you're doing your schoolwork, you're reading, whatever. If you're reading, right, you're doing your thing, let's say you finish a question, right? You pick up your phone, you see a notification. You don't even open your phone. You just pick it up, and you know how it automatically turns on? It turns on and you see a notification. You quickly put it back down and get back to work, but what happens is that notification is still wandering in your head. If it's someone important saying something, you're still thinking about what that person is saying as you write. So once you're in that flow state and you interrupt that flow state, it's not just like, oh, 2-3 seconds I stopped and I looked at my phone. It's something like 10-15 minutes where you lose that concentration because you checked your phone. It's much crazier than you thought. And if you think I'm spouting gibberish, then just try it for yourself. A lot of the things I say in my videos people think are stupid, but I've done them and I know that they work. By not multitasking, you're going to notice how much more effective your studying sessions are, how much better your workouts are, how much more concentrated and focused you are, how much of the minutiae you notice more throughout the day. This is a habit that I really do think people need to pick up on, and that is very valuable for creating valuable results through deep work. Multitasking is truly ruining your life and you don't even realize it. It's one of those big problems that comes with social media. You're distracted, you're going on Instagram, you're watching a YouTube video, you open a new tab at the same time. This is bad, especially if you're trying to be successful at a specific thing that requires deep work, which almost every successful task does. Stop multitasking. I hope you watched this entire video without opening a new tab, without scrolling down to the comments, because that means you are doing it right and you're already on your first step towards becoming more successful. Thanks for watching. Check out the video that is shown on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next one.